Uninformed Movie Reviews, the movie review podcast, where we go strong opinion most of the time.
Wow, okay,
all
cool.
the time. That's a hot take.
Yeah.
I was really ready for you to hit the we review movies, but I love that.
Yeah, switch it up a little bit.
you
It's a new year, new us.
You Shyamalan twisted us.
The twist is a little bit more competent this time.
Except for these ones we're talking about, I guess.
Yeah, we'll get into it. If you haven't caught on from the clever little title we put up above, we're talking about M. Night Shyamalan today, y'all.
As purely a director.
Yeah, and also about Knock at the Cabin, and also a little bit about Old, maybe?
I'm
Yeah.
old.
Yeah, we're going to get into it a little bit. Update. Because, sometimes we put out a movie ranking, and then the director's not dead, and then they keep putting out movies.
Well, I feel like there's actually a handful of them where it was like, oh, they just put out another movie. Like, we put out the movie ranking, and then they just put out a movie right afterwards.
That's true. But
Yeah.
it was on purpose. We're like, what's going to get the clicks? That's how YouTube works.
Ride the lightning, yeah.
What's relevant?
Ride the lightning.
Yeah.
The lightning. What a fun,
Good album choice.
fun phrase.
Kids love Metallica.
I mean, they
The thunder is perfect.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to start the conversation talking about his newest entry because our official ranking is missing Old and it's missing a Knock at the Cabin, or it's just Knock at the Cabin. Right?
just Knock at the Cabin.
Just Knock at the
Knock-
Cabin.
like,
Drop the
Smashing Pumpkins and Toadies. People always think it's the Toadies or the Smashing Pumpkins.
the Sonics.
It's just the Sonics. It's just Smashing Pumpkins.
I keep wanting to say, like, in my head, I'm mixing part of Cabin in the Woods, and I keep wanting to say Knock in the Woods, which doesn't make sense.
That'd be kind of cool, actually.
Yeah.
Just
A
one
knock at the
knock in the
cabin
middle
in
of
the
a
woods.
woods. See, that's scarier than the entire movie.
It makes me think of The Ritual.
Dude, I love The Ritual. Let's just watch The Ritual again.
I still haven't watched that movie.
Dude.
I heard you guys' discussion. Actually, I didn't listen to the whole thing.
That's what
because
it
you
is.
guys were like, oh, this is going to be spoilers. And I was like, they love this so much, I should probably watch it.
Yeah, legit.
It's amazing, dude.
Legit. This is for you too, viewer. If you haven't seen The Ritual, give it a check out. It's fantastic.
By David Bruckner. Put it on, dang old Ritual, man. I'll tell you what.
Thank you, Boomhauer.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
So we've all seen Knock at the Cabin at this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Danny,
I snuck in.
we watched it together, right? We went to the same...
Is that the reveal here?
Oh, well, yeah, I was telling these
Yeah.
guys, they were like, did you get to watch it? Because I was originally just going to come on here and kind of like,
Sabotage?
well, just listen to what you guys had to say, because I was at the point, I already had the movie spoiled for me.
Oh. Who did that?
Anthony Jeselnik
Oh.
on the Jeselnik and Roosevelt Vanity Project.
That's what you get for listening to Anthony Jeselnik.
Man.
I've been trying to tell you.
That podcast
The man's
is-
no good.
Is he
That
notorious
podcast
at
is really good, though.
But is he a
No.
notorious spoiler?
He always recommends movies and books, and he never spoils them. And then just like right at the top of his discussion about it, he just spoils it. And then it was like, really, man? Although, I don't know. Okay, well, I don't want to spoil it now, so I guess spoilers.
Oh, well, let's just put out a spoiler warning in general. I feel like we are going to talk about this
Yeah.
movie in some detail, so...
And I will say that I feel like it's almost not a spoiler because it's got to be one of the most predictable things you could expect.
Yeah, for sure. We'll give a fair spoiler warning.
Yeah.
I'll also give my recommendation right now. Like, watch it if you want to, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, so to watch it, right? Originally, I was thinking about sailing the high seas to find a copy of it.
Ooh.
Nice.
Because going to the theater's too hard. And then I just realized that, like,
You gotta preface why it's hard. You can't just say, like, going to the theater's kind of
well,
hard.
you know, I have to get a babysitter, which
There
is
it
usually my
is.
parents, and then they can come check it out. But then, it's also like my parents are probably willing, but you don't want to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't want to burn all the babysitting goodwill
And
now.
I'm gonna want to see Barbie. You know what I'm saying? So like I gotta,
You gotta save that.
I gotta save it up and and let them know, hey, Barbie's coming out soon. I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. You got to babysit for me.
You just invite them over, and then, you say, oh, it's really great that you guys are here. There's this movie that's out right now. It's like actually the last showing for the night, and they won't be able to leave because of the implication.
because of the implication. That's too much. I feel like they would be down. That's the funniest part, is that I'm kind of making a big deal out of nothing, but
I know, I'm just
they would be down. But that would also be, well, when we went to your wedding. Have we talked about this on the podcast?
No.
Is this weird? Is this weird me bringing it up right
No,
now?
I'm married.
Is it more weird
No,
me
it's not weird.
asking
I'm
if it's
married.
weird?
Yeah.
Well, when we went to your wedding, it was the day of the Cowboys playoff game, and my parents were so down to babysit because my dad was just like, just make sure the game's set up.
That's all I need, bro.
That was exactly it.
I'm glad you got to see them lose. Again.
I feel like I am stumbling here a bit, but I was trying to pirate it, and well, I mean, ooh, that's not the word I wanted to use.
Uh-oh.
Whoops.
I was trying to see if I could access it somehow, and I just feel like, they made it so difficult that I don't want to click on all these stupid ads and then pop-ups, and like you get a pop-up blocker, but they're so intense now, and like,
Dude, they are. And they'll just go into each other.
yes, and then it's
You know?
like to watch a crappy cam. So then, I tried doing it yesterday, and then afterwards I was just kind of whatever, and then I didn't get out of work until like 8:30 because it was parent-teacher conference night.
Yikes.
Oh,
So
gross.
it was like
Miss me
a
with that.
13-hour day, and then it's like I get home and almost everyone's almost asleep. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. Like Michelle's awake, obviously, but
Hey, you
the
want to
babies
watch
are
a
asleep.
subpar M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Well, even after that, we're just hanging out. We're having a good time, and then it's 11 o'clock. She goes to bed, and I just turn on the TV, and it's on Amazon Prime.
Get out.
Yeah.
Already it's on there?
Like it was like in early access, and I was like, "This is so weird." So I had to pay $20,
Yeah, that's cool.
but I was just like, "Sure, why not? I'd spend more than $20 at the movie theater."
Easily.
And then I, clicked on it, watched it last night. Had to feed my babies in the middle of the night, so then I put some headphones on, and I just like watched it while I was holding a sleeping baby, giving him milk.
Nice.
And it was an interesting viewing experience that way. And I have to say that, I think it's all right. I think it's not.
all right.
I maybe it was because you guys were hating on it so much that let me have a more enjoyable experience.
Maybe.
In the sense that I didn't go in with a high bar. I went in expecting it to be god awful, or not. Because to be fair,
we didn't say it was
you guys
god-awful.
didn't say it was god awful. You said that there was nothing worth talking about.
No, we said, I think what at least what I told you
Yeah.
was it's not even bad enough to go on a roast fest on.
That's
the
It's-
problem.
It's not, we can't even dunk on it. It's
Yeah.
just very mid.
Right?
And I don't think that it's
It's
I
the-
think a majority of the movie works until the last like 20 minutes, and then they really
Yeah.
screw it up.
They do not stick the landing at all.
And a lot of it works for me. There are some bigger issues, of course, which I'm excited to get into, but
yeah. Well, actually, great segue.
Yeah.
Before we do, I'd like
perfect.
to thank everyone for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Our audience has grown anomaly, and we really appreciate it. Everyone.
anomaly?
Anemone.
Oh, sorry.
Anemone. Everyone across the pond, thanks for checking us out. We got quite a following in UK, thanks to my beautiful wife.
Wow.
Nice.
That was a weird one, but I like it.
Little piercing,
Yeah.
right? And I think we got some friends in Australia checking us out. Thanks for liking, sharing, and subscribing, getting our word out. We appreciate it. Check us out on Instagram at uninformedmoviereviews, and check us out at Twitter at UMR Podcast. Why don't we get this thing going?
Get it rolling like a hoop snake.
Tell you what,
Are you guys
we'll drop it like drop bears.
Yes, like drop bears.
There we go.
are you guys tweeting on this Twitter?
I mean, I do sometimes, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I'm not tweeting on anything.
You know what, Grace? We just found a new job for you. At UMR Podcast.
Online for you guys.
There you go.
Wow, that'd be great. That's the
That's
part I hate.
wonderful.
That's the part I hate the most about doing a podcast, to
I
be
really
honest.
hate social.
I don't like the social media thing. I'm also bad at it. I'm
Good at
too
liking
old.
memes. I'm good at.
Wow, actually, yeah, this is perfect.
See, perfect. There we go. We worked it out.
She's considerably more useful than Frank.
And
you know,
me.
this is really like we added to the party, and it's just net benefit.
Yeah.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I hard agree.
Motion to get rid.
Well,
Second.
Second.
There we go.
can I hang?
At least can I finish out the episode?
Can I hang for this one, I guess?
Can I finish?
Yeah.
That's got to be a no.
So I think naturally we kind of have like our first impression, well, overall impressions really of like where we landed on the movies.
May I hit the synopsis?
Yeah. Again,
There you go. Dude, you were so ready to drop it too.
I was like, oh, here it goes.
I've been working on this synopsis. Please let me do it.
Two dads and their daughter are enjoying a weekend getaway in a secluded cabin when four strangers show up. A teacher, a nurse, a cook, and homophobic Ron Weasley are tasked with the impossible. In order to prevent the apocalypse, they must convince the family to participate in a ritual sacrifice. It's knock at the cabin.
Love it, David.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
You're good at what you do.
You are good.
I'm like Wolverine in that way.
Yeah. True.
That one
Yeah.
took me a second. I'm not sure
I think
if I fully
you have the most
understand it.
body hair of the
What?
crew too.
There we go.
So
Well, I'm also like Wolverine in that way.
Yeah.
But Wolverine, that's his.
There's more than one way you're like Wolverine.
wait, hold on.
Give me long
Should
enough.
we pivot and just list ways that
And
David's
it's
like
not the
Wolverine?
superpowers way.
Give me long enough and I'll find the third one. All right. And challenge accepted. I'm definitely going to be going into it this episode. But, no, but Wolverine.
By standing here, I hope to prove to you by the end of this that I am more like Wolverine than you think.
And you know what? Knock at the Cabin is all right. No, Wolverine's catchphrase is "I'm the best at what I do."
Oh, okay.
I think I just love Wolfie so much. What can I say?
It's like, I rock flannel. I've got the hair. What else
Damn,
can you need?
actually, the flannel. Okay, that's 3.
Yeah.
We'll
True.
keep this going. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
We'll get there. We'll stop for little Wolverine breaks. Before we get into too much, Knock at the Cabin with its 100-minute runtime currently has a 6.4 out of 10 on IMDb, a 68% positive review rating on Rotten Tomatoes, made on a budget of $20 million, which is a little bit low. It's on the lower end of budgets for a Shyamalan flick, but that's because they're just in a cabin for most of the time. Small little cast. Opening weekend would make $14,127,170, but has currently worldwide grossed $48,134,741.
And maybe $61 because of last night.
Hey.
Well, these numbers are from today.
Dang.
Always try to
already
bring the
included.
freshest numbers to the table,
Numbers?
y'all.
Dang.
Freaking daddy over
Yeah.
here.
And I have learned that IMDb updates those numbers daily.
Wow.
Yeah,
Hell
they're
yeah.
on it with those
It's a hell of
numbers.
an algorithm.
Yeah.
They're like, we don't want numbers, daddy, getting on us.
Yeah.
Let's
true.
make sure we have this
We've got
together.
reputations to uphold.
Yeah.
Don't sully my reputation, IMDb. That's what I'm always
Damn.
telling them. I email them every
Damn.
couple of weeks.
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart move.
Yeah, that's how you stay on it. Danny, what's your biggest problem with this one?
Why don't I give you a little bit of the my pros and cons on this thing? All right.
Ooh, I love this.
All right.
Yeah,
So the
that's not what I asked, but I'm okay with it.
yeah. I just ignored what you
Okay,
said.
just go ahead and negate my role as host of this episode. But okay, go ahead.
I'm
We'll
gonna
do
let
it.
So
you
now that I
finish.
have the mic,
We'll do what you want to do. Okay.
I'm gonna let you finish. All right, so the good things about it is cinematography is beautiful. I think some of the scenes are set up really
Hard agree.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Scenes are set up really wonderful. Bautista is very good in this movie. I think it's probably one of the best acting jobs I think he's done in general
Yeah.
without being covered in makeup. And what else? The dads are great. Not Jonathan Goff, but the other actor is also really good. Jonathan Goff is not bad in it, I think.
Something seems a little bit off with him.
Something seems off. Maybe that's the character he's portraying.
I was just joking because the guy has a concussion.
Oh.
That was my bit. Sorry. I really had a bad delivery of it. That's my fault.
I take full responsibility for the failure of that bit.
Con for me is that there's like not even that much rising action before things just kind of fall into a wet fart, and then I feel like a lot of the disaster scenes that they were kind of showing could have been shown with more finesse rather than just some like B-roll of like a newsreel.
Or like a cell phone,
A cell phone
footage
that
of,
went to like high def.
yeah,
And then underwater somehow.
And then-
yeah,
And someone posted it.
and who uploaded it? Yeah,
No, that one was the news, I think, wasn't it?
No,
Or was
they
it
said
a
it was a
phone?
user
No,
video
yeah, it
or
was like a
something like
user
that.
submitted video, but they died in a tsunami.
They were like live streaming
I
it.
guess they could have been live
Maybe.
streaming
They were
it.
on Twitch.
I mean, it could have been.
You know what
but-
I'll say? That part really reminded me of The Happening.
Yeah.
And that it had that same kind of weird cut to this footage that was supposed to be
They did that.
found footage, but it was obviously like way too polished
Yeah.
and produced.
Yeah.
So that is interesting.
That grounded my gears a little bit, and I feel like what is the worst is that there's no real payoff at the end. Like in the last 10 minutes, I know that they were like posing, like a little bit of like a question. Is this real? Is this like a group delusion kind of thing? And I think they kind of had it working in some spots, but then near the end, you're just like, I don't know, man.
You know, can I piggyback off that
Yeah.
if I may?
Get on.
This was my key issue with the movie because I liked the characters. Of course, you have some of that clunky Shyamalan dialogue, which you love it or you hate it.
That was the most characteristic thing, I think,
Mhm.
of the entire film for him.
So the movie hinges on the family believably not buying into the ritual. That's what makes the tension work.
Yeah.
And what should have been going on was that they're showing this stuff on TV and they went, I think, too big with it. Where I think it would have been a little bit smarter to kind of be like, horrible stuff happens in our world every day. Like horrifying natural disasters almost every day.
Yeah.
And they could have picked
There's probably one happening right now.
Exactly.
One just happened last week.
They could have picked more believable ones where as the audience you're like, okay, this could happen because this happened last week.
Yeah.
But is it really them? But they get to a point in the movie, and it's getting towards the end, to be fair, where like 800 planes start falling out of the sky. It's just going way too far.
Southwest and their computers, right?
It's the pilot shortage. But
The liberals, man.
it gets to a point where as the viewer, it becomes very clear that to not believe in the ritual is ridiculous. And that deflates the ending.
Yes.
It has to be the whole time that you're not even sure whether or not what they're saying is real. And that's what creates tension. And that's the issue, my issue with it.
I almost feel like they shouldn't have shown the ending, like the world outside of it.
And I think the book doesn't.
That's better.
The book ends with them leaving the cabin, and that's it. You
That's
get
how it
no
should've
closure. Yeah, a lot like The Mist.
Yes, and that's what the vibe I was getting at the end of this movie was like, man, they could have really pulled this off like The Mist, where it's just like no one knows, it's very ambiguous, and it would have had more impact versus just being like some cheesy shot of like driving to a diner and seeing more news footage.
Yeah. And then to pull back and Bruce Willis was there the whole time in the diner. That's crazy.
At the same diner.
Yeah.
It's Bruce Willis, but it's Bruce Willis in like the green raincoat.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
part of the Glass trilogy.
You're telling me Samuel L. Jackson took down all those planes?
Yeah.
There was no curse?
Which is kind of funny because, you know, now that like Bruce Willis like signed away the likeness to his images, right?
Yeah.
So he's he's like enabling deep fakes of him and stuff like that now.
It's so sad, man.
It's pretty sad, but it would have been pretty funny. Like if you think about it.
Totally. I am bummed. Man, Bruce Willis is just one of those guys that growing up, every movie you saw him in, he was just so cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was like Harrison Ford. Like you love Indiana Jones as a kid. You see Harrison Ford, you're like, that's Indiana Jones. Bruce Willis, I don't know. Something hits me about him.
Yeah, I like him.
It's such a bummer, man.
I like Harrison Ford better, I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Indy, come on.
Yeah.
Han Solo. Anyways, where am I even getting
So
here?
where are we?
What are we talking about?
Oh yeah. Sorry to pull away from the Bruce Willis Han Solo debate.
Tell us yours.
He would have been okay in the role.
Yeah, I feel like you guys are making some good points with like it being beautifully shot. Visually, it doesn't really have any issues. I think it does a good part. Like Shyamalan is not big on gore. That's never been his thing. Like I think the worst he gets is with The Happening, where it's just plain this is what's happening.
Some cool death shots in The Happening.
Yeah, and that's not a complaint at all. You know what I mean? Like that's just how Shyamalan be. So I think he handled the brutality of it really well without making it like a gore porn.
I could have used a gore porn.
I feel like the pacing was a little bit, I think dry is the best way I can put it. It's just very, and then we're on to this next one. The pacing felt very ho-hum for me.
Yeah.
Again, with Danny saying there's not a lot of like rising action until it's just like things really get taken up a notch at the end. Because I feel as a viewer watching it for the first time, you get like 15, 20 minutes in and it's like, okay, well, I think this is how it's going to play out. I think they're going to sacrifice themselves. And then they do start sacrificing themselves. And you're like, well, maybe the twist is that they are actually crazy people. And immediately you're like, no, like it's just going to be like the end of the world. They're going to wait till the very end. They're at no point are they going to kind of be convincing it's going to be till the very last moment. And then they kill one of the dads. And that's how it plays out.
They needed a twist.
Yeah.
That's the ironic part, is that Shyamalan went no twist.
He went no twist.
And they needed one in this movie.
Yeah. I was reading something about like, I think it was after the visit, like between the visit and old, this interview with Shyamalan on Unilad, responding to critics,
Unilad.
like kind of dunking on him because they're like, well, he's just the twist guy. And he's like, well, that's just you do the thing that you're good at. And that's what I'm doing. But I think like,
maybe it got in his head.
Yeah, like the critics definitely got in his head a little bit. And that's and that'll go on to like the second part of this conversation, just like what should Shyamalan do like next? Why is he doing the things that he's doing?
Yeah.
It's interesting you say that, if I may.
You may.
Thank you. I'm gonna let you finish. but sorry. So in Old, which is subsequently his next film not after The Visit, actually, or is it?
Yeah, it's after The Visit.
I think
No,
Glass.
'cause it
is
was
after
Glass.
this.
Yeah.
And then Split.
No.
No,
Split is a sequel to Glass.
and then Old.
Visit, Split, Glass, Old.
Okay.
Knock
Well,
at the Cabin.
it's interesting that one of the first of him coming back without being in his own universe for like the Unbreakable universe still has a twist in Old. Old has a semi twist, but
It's
it's a good premise.
It's got a full twist.
Yeah, I think it's a full twist. Because in Old, you think it's like this supernatural, natural occurring thing, which it is, but it's also
Yeah.
like this pharmaceutical company has
That's the twist.
is
yeah.
using this to test.
Although I guess to Danny's credit, it's not one that really changes anything.
No, and I
You just
think it's
find out that the motive is different. That's all.
I think it's a decent twist. I think it's actually pretty cool. What I'm saying
well, the
is
premise is really good. You know what I mean?
premise
That's
is
what-
really good,
That's what gets it.
but that is borrowed from the book Sandcastle that it's based off of,
Yeah.
which is made by two French authors, one French artist and one French author who hasn't really done much.
Yeah, it's a
other than
graphic
that.
novel, right?
Yeah, it's a graphic
Yeah.
novel, and it is pretty cool. I checked it out. It's about 100 pages long. Really doesn't take long to get to, but the movie actually extrapolates on the premise way better than the book does. The book kind of leaves it more ambiguous, and if anything, gives no explicit cause to what's going on.
That's interesting.
And
That's really interesting because that's the same thing that happens with Knock at the Cabin. I was reading about the book, and I was just, I was saying earlier, they don't give an epilogue, but also in that one, and spoiler alert, I guess I don't know if Frank knows this, the daughter dies accidentally. The
That's
dads don't
sick. I
choose
didn't
to
know
kill.
that. Yeah.
So like Dave Bautista, they got Drax in the restroom, right?
All right. Yeah.
And then they open the door, and while they're wrestling for the gun, it goes off and kills the daughter.
I mean,
and
does
then-
that still not count?
It
'Cause,
doesn't count
yeah,
because
that
they
makes
have to
sense.
agree to kill somebody. So then most of it kind of plays out the same way where each one of the members sacrifices himself. And at the end, the two dads are like, we're just going to leave. We're not going to kill each other. And then that's the end of the
see,
story.
that's sick.
That would have been more
That would've been
satisfying.
That's
great.
a good ending,
yeah,
man.
that's a good
Yeah.
ending.
Yeah, but you got that, it's like a little baby Judith on Walking Dead who should have died.
Should have killed the baby.
Yeah, but they didn't do it.
I kind of, in a way, I kind of disagree with your point in that I think that it could have benefited from more violence. I feel like if they could have shown a little more of like the death scenes, I think that would have been cool. I feel like they softened everything to keep it under the PG-13 rating for sure.
It is R.
R.
Is it?
It's
R.
R for language. It's like his first one that's
Then
R
that's
for language.
even more disappointing.
But
Yeah.
I,
But that's
honestly, I-
not. But then it would have felt even less like a Shyamalan movie.
I
guess so,
I don't think
yeah.
the violence is necessary. I think,
I want to see Ron Weasley's head split open. I'm sorry.
yeah. I mean,
I mean, we all want to see Ron Weasley's head split open. Let's be honest.
I get what you're saying. I don't know if it would have made the movie stronger. Having some, and let's be honest, it would have been some like
I'm dying on this. hill.
moderately cheap CGI,
yeah.
especially on the budget that the movie was filmed. It probably wasn't going to look great anyway. So I don't know.
I'm gonna die on this hill. I want to see that head split.
I'm sure he's in some crappy horror movie. You could probably find something.
Oh, he's in that other Shyamalan.
You could probably hire
series.
some graphic
Yeah.
artist on Fiverr. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Yeah.
That series is awful, by the way, for anyone thinking about watching Servant or whatever that Apple
Servants,
TV,
yeah, I think.
series, which somehow has 3 seasons on this very thin premise that is just pretty much touched upon within the first 2 episodes. Awful.
Huh.
God
Maybe
awful.
I'll have to watch this, you know?
Because
Because honestly, my takeaway here was that you guys, I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was better than a lot of Shyamalan movies.
it is.
I thought the tension was pretty good. I didn't have a problem with that. But it was really that when you got to the end, that it was like, well, yeah, this is exactly how you think it's going to play out in your head at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then it happens. And there's no reason for me to think that it wouldn't, like, you believe Dave Bautista and all these guys because you're presented with too much information. They give the hand away, and it reminded me a lot of The Village and how that if they had kind of rearranged a few things and reveals in The Village, it would have been more effective. But
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
think like for me, it wasn't the most entertaining watch. It wasn't super thought provoking. Like the main thought I had in my head at the end of that movie was like, well, let's go now. And then I
Yeah.
got to watch Danny look for his phone for like a good 10
That's
minutes. That was more entertaining than the
That was
movie.
pretty
Honestly,
funny.
yeah.
You know, about thought provoking. So like the movie starts and Dave Bautista comes waltzing in, and I love the tension in that scene because I was like, he's so physically intimidating.
Yeah, it's creepy.
And you know the situation that he's just talking to a girl who's by herself is like not right. Like it starts off in a very creepy angle, and then when
He's got the like cult like button up going on.
he didn't look quite right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's
Got
something
the Dahmer
off.
glasses on. And stuff.
Yes, and then you get into the whole thing, and I was wondering what the messaging was. Like, was it that is this like they're QAnon people?
I was thinking that for a second.
Because for a little bit they're kind of hinting at that. Oh, you guys met on a message board online.
Yeah,
Which
you're in
Leonard
an echo chamber. You
Yeah.
you realize that, right?
Yes, they hit all these bits, and then I'm like, okay, interesting. Is this a criticism of QAnon? But then what does that make this couple? Like, what do they serve in that? And then it was like, is this a homophobic thing? Is this about how if you rile people up with, rumors of homophobia or transphobia or whatever, people resort to violence? But then it turns out it's like, and they literally say in the movie, oh, they're the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you mean this is exactly what the imagery looked like the second it was introduced?
Yep.
And when I was listening to our old episode, shout out, I forgot who says it. Maybe it was me. I don't know. Who cares? But it was like
Who does care?
Shyamalan doesn't think the audience is intelligent enough to get these things. And
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
that is one thing about the movie. Like him really. Yes.
So
like-
see, guys, the thing of it, like what I'm trying to say is,
yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
it's not
Do you
even
get it?
clever. It's not
Yeah.
even.
Do you get it?
Yeah, but I would have loved maybe a twist on the QAnon thing,
That'd have been sweet.
and that adds to like, is this real or are these people just riled up,
Yeah.
or is there
Yeah.
something to this? But
had
Well-
it not been the actual end of the world, I think it would have been more interesting.
And
Yeah.
they kind of touch on that with Ron Weasley's character, where you're just like, oh, that's a little too circumstantial that this happens to be the guy that committed the hate crime on them.
yes,
You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, I like the direction this is going in. Now they're seeming like their argument's a little, it's like faltering.
And that gave me a connection to Signs, because then I was thinking about like, oh, is this one of these? There are no coincidences. Everything is this what this movie's turning into? That he's the one who saw the vision because they knew that it would cause distrust. So it makes the challenge of accepting his the truth he's trying to give you makes it even more difficult.
It's playing the game with a higher difficulty.
Yeah,
for
it's
the
like
fun.
it's like a test from God. It's like an Old Testament, kind of
Yeah.
a trial. Which I was like, I could see Mel Gibson crying right now. I feel it. So
just mashed potatoes in his mouth.
eat your dinner. Eat your
I'm not super disappointed on this movie at all. It's just like it is a disappointment in ways. I don't think. I told Frank like afterwards, after seeing it, pretty much I was like, I don't know if I'll ever watch that one again, but maybe down the line. You know what I mean? It's not. You're right. It's nowhere near as bad as his ultimate rock bottom.
Well, looking at our old ranking, it was like,
Woo.
oh man, there's some real bad ones on
I
here.
mean,
Yeah.
I would be angry if someone put on Lady in the Water.
When
Yeah.
when Shyamalan shits the bed, he shits the bed.
he
It's
does.
like you're not washing those sheets; you're throwing them out.
You're tossing the mattress.
Yeah.
Like
And this was just like-
Airbender. Yep.
It's like, damn, Shyamalan, did you fart?
Yeah. It's just a missed landing.
Yeah.
But not enough goofiness for us to like laugh and enjoy it, like the happening. You know what I mean?
And I think if we want to segue into like the next part of this conversation,
Oh, can I
and
say
kind of
one-
just jump back and forth a little bit? Yeah. go
Oh,
ahead, say one
well, I just
thing.
want to say one last thing about Knock at the Cabin.
Do it.
There's a Sabrina in this movie. It really cracked me up. My daughter's name's Sabrina, and I keep meaning to bring this up, and it's the 3rd Sabrina in like a few months.
Huh.
Interesting.
Because there's a Sabrina in American Psycho, which is, obviously problematic. And then there's a Sabrina in Eyes Wide Shut. And then now, the very next episode, there's Sabrina in this movie. There's 3 Sabrinas.
We haven't hit any Elliots yet, have we?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
I've been watching all these Westerns.
We're
so
not
I've hit a
doxing
few.
your children, are we?
No, I mean, they can know their names.
All right, cool.
Plus, if you,
And their address.
if you watch the Halloween reviews, there's a couple episodes where they show up, actually.
there's really no such thing as coincidences, David.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason. All right, well, sorry. Everyone's like, no, Frank, don't be the host.
Yeah, I think
And I took that personally.
Danny was like, all right, bet. I think a big reason for it feeling like the missed landing is that these last two haven't been full on original Shyamalan scripts. You know what I mean? They're novels adapt, or like novels or graphic novels adapted into screenplays. And especially with this one, before the book was even published, like it had already been optioned out for a film,
Really?
and a different
Jurassic Park
screenwriter
style.
had already written the screenplay, and Shyamalan was supposed to sign on as a producer, and ended up rewriting the screenplay. So yeah, it's like a second draft of this. So maybe it's super watered down for that reason. But
what David was saying is, I think I would enjoy the ending in the book better.
Well, that is an interesting thing. Is like, what motivated that change? Was it Shyamalan? Was it pressure from studios? Because isn't the whole thing too that like him getting to kind of control his movie because he's putting more of his own money in?
Yeah,
you would think that he kind of greenlit this ending
because he's mortgaged his house for his own films twice.
Yeah,
at this point, right?
Did he do it twice?
Yeah.
Was that for his comeback on this last one?
It was for The Visit,
Split.
Thank you, David.
Well, both gambles worked out on that one, I guess.
Yeah, that worked out.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing too, is that ultimately I would recommend just, watching the movie, paying for the movie. Don't try and be a pirate. Just because Shyamalan is like there are almost no more original movies hitting theaters where lots of people are watching.
That's true. That aren't remakes.
You have A24, who's kind of carving out their own hole, and they're like hitting some bangers, but everything else is like legacy sequel or cinematic
Soft
universe
reboot.
You know what I mean? So that's what I love about Shyamalan. I mean,
I'll still go see his movie.
This one did leave
that's
a
kind
little
of the
bit
point
of
that I
poop.
want to make. That's the nice thing about Shyamalan, is him coming up with his original ideas and telling these stories. Although he like gets a big head about it sometimes. Like that's the Shyamalan magic. You know what I mean?
Isn't there times though where it feels like he needs someone else? You know what I mean?
Rope him in a little bit.
Well, it's like we were saying with The Village. Like he needs like a partner who's there in the editing room. Like, hey, like what if we had a little bit of faith in the audience and we didn't spell everything out for him, or like we saved the reveal for the end of the movie.
And it's interesting you guys say that, because now going into this conversation after like rewatching old since we've seen it before, and this movie, I mean, I have an appreciation for this movie, but for the embellishments that Shyamalan made to Sandcastle for Old, I actually think it benefits from Shyamalan's touch.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and I rewatched Old too, getting ready for this podcast, and I think I appreciated it even more.
Yeah,
watching it the second time.
Actually, I think it's an okay movie. I think it's
all right.
good. Yeah.
I think Old actually kind of suffers, for me, the same issue with this movie. Where the last 20 minutes are like kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
And they detract from the movie. Yeah. It's like they go beyond being unnecessary. They're just like hurting the film.
Yeah.
Which is,
they go all Umbrella Corp.
Yeah. A bummer. I mean, I know a lot of people kind of think that movie's a little hokey, Old, but I think all of his movies are hokey. That's kind of his thing. You know what I mean?
Solid premise and solid rising action on Old, though, because once it kicks off, it just like shoots up. Like it is a rocket taking off. Like, well, we got to get out of here before the end of the day or everyone's going to die.
Well, yeah, because it is like it is a like ticking clock. You know what I mean? That is the thing with Old. Once they figure out the math on like, well, like we're not going to last like 2 days here. You're like, we're going to die of old age.
Yeah, it's really cool.
To support the argument, the hypothesis you all presented, don't forget that After Earth, the story's by Will Smith, and there's another screenwriter on that movie. So that one's also not only by Shyamalan. And then technically neither is Last Airbender, because that's based on an existing property too.
Yeah, Shyamalan, just do your own thing.
Some of the worst ones are,
except Lady in the Water.
Lady in the Water,
it's
really
completely him.
Well, that's what I was saying. Sometimes he gets a big head about his own original ideas.
Well,
like stating that he's like the writer that was like sent to save the world.
Since his big money debut, which would be Sixth Sense, right? So we're counting everything past Sixth Sense as like
whoa. We are fans of Praying with Anger here.
Still haven't seen Praying with Anger.
You're not missing too much.
No, you're really not.
Nothing you guys said about it made me think like, you know what, I need to watch Praying with Anger.
No, but
fair.
I think you guys are right. Like, he has his misses, but there's nothing quite as bad as I think Lady in the Water is his rock bottom. For creative, like all rounded. Like, I wrote this. This is also my direction.
This was not your argument almost a year ago.
And you're right. And I have to reference and revise that because I was wrong to put The Visit where I put it. It is definitely higher than Lady in the Water.
Wow, you've grown since the last time we talked about Shyamalan.
Who said people can't change?
Now we got to do the Bong Joon-ho update.
Bong Joon.
Bong Joon.
Oh, sorry. You know what? Last Airbender is a stinker too. So I mean, it's not you
I almost
can't
don't
hate
count
here.
it.
I'm trying to see. I'm on my phone. If you're watching the podcast, you're like, this guy's just texting.
That's okay. During the Shyamalan episode, the original Shyamalan episode, I was on my phone almost the entire time.
Yeah,
I was like looking stuff up.
yeah,
and
you're,
notes
and
stuff.
I was just double checking to make sure, like, yeah, everything else he wrote himself. You know what I mean? Like Visit, Village, Glass. The Happening is the last one I need to see, but I think The Happening is just him also. So
I think it is.
Yeah, if I could like talk to Shyamalan directly, I would tell him like succeed or fail, but do it on your own merits.
Yeah.
Because that's where you soar the highest. Sure, sometimes you miss the mark, but
Yeah.
when you're really hitting it, it's his own original stuff.
I don't want
Yeah.
to see him adapt things anymore.
No,
No.
yeah, I think I'm
Or handle an IP.
I don't necessarily disagree with you guys, but I honestly think he needs to find a partner. That would be the thing
That would be sweet.
I think he could successfully adapt something, but he needs like someone to balance off of a little bit more.
He should work with like an edgy new horror director. along with him.
Interesting.
Can you imagine like him and like, I don't know, Ari Aster, or him and like Robert Eggers just like working on something together?
that's
like,
what he needs, like a Moneyball moment where he realizes like, whoa, these comedy writers are actually really
Oh,
good at good
yeah.
good
Ooh,
horror.
Jordan Peele
I need
and
to
M.
find
Night
myself a
Shyamalan?
comedy writer.
Hey,
Pull them in.
Seth Rogen, what are you up to?
Yeah.
Oh God.
That would be a weird mix.
That would be a weird mix.
Like the
Oh.
dynamic and interviews would be weird.
I've got it.
Ooh. pitch it.
Rob McElhenney.
Weird.
2 Philadelphia boys
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
who just who know how to tell a story. It's perfect.
That might be kind of interesting.
It's
yeah.
perfect.
I don't
man.
know if Rob's got an eye for horror.
I don't know.
I don't know. The like he's got a little bit of a fantasy touch in Mythic Quest.
Mr. Quest?
I need to
Mr.
watch-
Quest, yeah.
I need to watch that.
Mythic Quest is pretty good, man. It's a good time.
God, that last episode was really good.
I'm a little bit behind. I'm a little bit behind.
It's just it's an Apple show, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
It's an Apple
You
TV
know,
show.
I'm not really into it.
I feel like I'm taking the stand on the Apple subscription thing that I did like on making an Instagram in like 2010.
Oh man.
Where it's like I'm too old, guys. I don't
another-
I don't want to sign up
Yo,
for one more. I'm done.
I mean, we're gonna talk. Severance, probably the best Apple TV show possible, and The Morning Show also.
I'm
another.
tired of seeing things about Ted Lasso. Is that okay to say?
Ted Lasso's
Yeah.
cool. I like Ted Lasso.
There's just too many things to watch. Is the honest truth.
Yeah.
It really is.
and it's like so many good things that it's overwhelming.
like
It's-
Deadwood, which I've watched.
Dang. Okay, sorry. Can we quick Deadwood interjection? Where are you at in Deadwood?
Season 2, episode 2.
Oh, dude, isn't the first episode of season 2 just like yeah.
That whole Kristen Bell and like her brother episode.
Oh, that's a great
thing
one.
Was like crazy.
Yeah, Kristen Bell's got a great I think it's 2 episodes she's
Yeah.
on Deadwood.
I think it was right at the end of the first season.
Yeah, the viewers don't know, but after last episode, Danny checked out Deadwood, and Ian McShane,
Ian McShane is incredible.
one of like the most iconic TV performances ever.
Yeah.
Like
I didn't know. I knew he had great range, and he's so characteristic in how he portrays everything. Like he's kind of just Ian McShaning himself, and
Yeah.
everything. But it's like
dude,
he's so devious,
yes,
but he shows the good guy when he's got to be the good guy.
yes,
You
like
know what I
he
mean?
does care. You know what I mean?
I liked what you were talking about, where everyone's like the morally gray character in this show, and
Yeah.
it's true. Look at like Timothy Olyphant. and stuff.
Yeah, Timothy Olyphant is
It
like
kind of gets on my nerves.
he's the hero, but he also has like uncontrollable rage.
Yeah,
It's really bizarre.
he is Brad Pitt from Seven.
Yes,
You know
he
what I
is.
mean?
And then even Doc Cochran, Brad Dourif is like
Love him, dude.
is like one of the most kind-hearted and generous people in the show, but he also supports these people who are taking advantage of other people.
Yeah.
Like he's got a line where he says like, "Well, I can be in the moral gray area because I can justify my actions or whatever." But
Yeah.
man,
This feels a
Deadwood-
little bit like when you guys would talk about Umbrella Academy or The
What?
Watchmen before
Oh,
I had
yeah.
seen
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Dragon
I'm
Ball
just
Z.
Like,
No,
no,
sorry.
yeah.
no more.
because when you talk about Dragon Ball Z, like
like
there's like an active hate that comes up in my gut.
And then when Deadwood gets to the tournament fighter arc, you know what I mean? When Cell shows
when
up,
Swearingen dies and then goes to like King Kai,
Yeah.
and then comes back, and no one really dies forever.
yeah, Frank, just hop on, and then let's have a Deadwood episode. It'll be my birthday episode. Watch the first one and see if it gets you.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's not very long.
Well, I had Sam try and watch like the first 2,
Oh, what did she
and
say?
she was not really into it.
Interesting.
Yeah, might not be her intrigue, but
I don't know if
you-
the British are huge on like American westerns.
You know, it's funny because
the Japanese though.
she was
love 'em.
saying-
they'll eat it up.
she was saying that maybe it's because we're more like tuned into hearing Old West lingo and
interesting.
slang and stuff like that, or just like their accent, that she was having a hard time without subtitles like following.
That's funny.
Which I mean, I did put on subtitles, but I was still like able to like not watch the screen and like hear what they're saying.
Yeah.
and
It's
stuff
like if we were watching Black Books. We're like, what are these guys talking about?
right. And I told her like,
What are these old British people talking
she
about
showed
right now?
me some older British shows that I was just like, I had to like put the subtitles on and also be like, what did they say on that?
Oh yeah. Well, Frank, you have an affinity for westerns, don't you? Don't you have like a
Yes,
childhood love of the western?
Yes, inherited from my maternal grandfather.
Yeah.
Dude,
if you
and
grew
you'll
up,
love it.
if you grew up in Texas, like you had someone in your family who was showing you a bunch of John Wayne movies, dude, it's incredible.
I'll give it a
really
shot. I
is.
love a good western. You've been talking about Red Dead so much.
Yeah.
I've been playing some Red Dead.
I'm
It's
gonna
beautiful.
start
Getting
using
back
Hooplehead. I'm bringing it back.
Hooplehead, yeah.
Hooplehead?
Hooplehead's over here.
I looked up Hooplehead to make sure it wasn't
It's
a
not
racist
racist.
slur. It's not
It's
racist.
not, no, it's just-
Let's be clear.
Good move.
It's never been accused of being racist.
No.
All right. No
Yet.
one yet.
I looked that up too. I was like, I want to use Hooplehead.
No, it has something. Hooplehead, its origins have something to do with like heroin addicts who are just like street urchins. You know what I mean?
Huh.
And Hooplehead,
Rickety cricket.
yeah, it's like the commoner, but like the dirty, unclean peasant is a
Huh.
Hooplehead.
Street rat.
Yeah, street rat. So,
Street rat.
and then I mean, Deadwood has a movie that came out years later, so it's like
I can't wait.
it's a crazy thing because the show got canceled for being kind of too expensive, and at the time, Desperate Housewives just came out and stole a bunch of like the adult audience of Sunday night.
That's
they were airing at the same
hilarious.
time, so it
I
got
forgot how big Desperate Housewives was.
yeah, dude. Desperate Housewives was an event. You know what I mean?
Continues to be. doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like no one talks about that show anymore.
Oh, you know what? I'm mixing it up with the Real Housewives.
Real
Yeah,
Housewives.
that's different.
I've heard Desperate Housewives is pretty badass, actually.
I remember my parents watching it and me being like, "This is kind of inappropriate." Me watching this show.
I gotta leave. I gotta put my hands over.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like adults gossiping. I can't be listening to this. This is inappropriate.
It was like when you walk into the living room and your parents are watching Ally McBeal when you're a child.
Yeah.
Or Eyes Wide Shut, and it's like the sleepy times.
Single female lawyer.
Well, do we have anything else
Where
to
were
say
we?
about Shyamalan? We were talking about Shyamalan needing some
Shyamalan and-
assistance and
Yes.
needing to stick to his own thing.
Hit us up, Shyamalan. You know what I mean? We
needs
love
like a-
you.
Hey, we came up with several really good pitches during
Like-
that original Shyamalan ranking.
He needs like a Shyamalan up.
Yes.
there we go.
Yeah, we'll give you the Shyamalan up. Just give us a rough cut of the movie. We'll give you some notes. It'll be a banger. I promise. I guarantee it.
I would hope he'd Shyamalan us to do it.
Yeah. Well, so real quick, I want us to insert, if we can.
Okay, yeah. Let me look at the.
like
I have the
where
original ranking here.
I
on
like
my
where
phone.
this is going.
Okay, we need to insert
yeah.
where Old is and where Knock at the Cabin is. So from the bottom up,
Okay.
our original ranking, the last one was Last Airbender, then Lady in the Water, After Earth. I think, Frank, you were saying...
Yeah, for me, I would put A Knock at the Cabin just above After Earth, underneath The Happening.
You know, I was originally disagreeing with you, but the more we talked about it, like, The Happening is so dumb and doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I at least enjoy it though.
Yeah.
It's so funny, though.
It's hilarious.
It's really good. So, like...
It's Shyamalan's
Like the hot dog guy?
only comedy entry.
Yeah, so it's like... So, Last Airbender, Lady in the Water, After Earth, Knock at the Cabin,
Yeah.
The Happening,
Yeah.
Glass. Then I would suggest Old, Underneath the Village.
That's funny. I would put
that.
Old
Yeah.
right above The Village.
Oh, yeah, but you hate the Village.
I do.
I would rather. I would watch both, but I have a much greater like appreciation for the Village.
I would totally watch Old again. Like, I haven't seen The Village again, like outside the Shyamalan ranking, and I
Okay.
gotta say, I honestly enjoyed rewatching Old.
Yeah, it's got its charm, I think. So okay,
Yeah.
so official ranking: Last Airbender, Lady in the Water, After Earth, Knock at the Cabin, The Happening, Glass, Old, Village, Visit, Unbreakable, Split, Sign, Sixth Sense, and boom, we locked it in.
Hold
I
on,
think
hold
there was
on,
something
hold
right
on.
there at the
I think
end.
you're reading something wrong.
Oh,
there
I'm sorry. It's
because,
been a long day.
You said
What's going
signs
on?
really weird. It's
Yeah.
like
You added like a whole nother word to it.
yeah, the
Well,
number that was totally wrong.
Sign, sense. They're kind of similar words.
No, it's science. There's still a consensus and continues to
You know,
be a consensus.
Re-listening to the episode, which again, I also want to say, like, what was it? April 29th, 2021, I think. It was
it
almost
was
a year ago.
2021. Yeah.
as someone who
Well, it was almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's right. It's
Yeah, it was
2023. Yeah.
2023.
Re-listening to the episode and having like edited so many of them, that one really sticks out to me as being a good episode.
It's
Like
a really good episode.
if you're
Shout
new,
out to our episode.
yeah, if you're new to the podcast, like I think that's honestly one that's, I don't know, feels like if I had a portfolio and I had to show someone and say like this is the one episode to listen to, it's top 3 at least. I mean, it's really good.
Tremors.
Shyamalan ranking, Tremors ranking,
Yeah.
and Saw ranking.
Saw ranking is great.
Yeah.
The thing I like about this though is I feel like a lot of people have seen the Shyamalan movies, where it's like,
Yeah.
if you haven't seen Tremors 7, you're probably better off. You
Go
know?
out, and watch yourself
beg
some
to
Tremors.
differ.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's good stuff.
Beautiful.
Yeah, episode 025. If you want to search it, make
Wow,
it
okay.
easier.
This
for
being
you.
episode 70.
yeah, episode
70.
70.
Dang, we getting old.
That was a hot little minute ago, y'all.
that's crazy. We don't do rankings as much as we used to. They take a long time.
It takes there's so
They
many
really
movies
do.
to watch. It's because we started running out of directors with like shorter portfolios.
right.
You know what I mean?
Under
Yeah.
12.
And we just swept
essentially.
it under
There's
the
a
door.
sweet spot. You can't do 3, and you also don't want to do 15.
I remember we contemplated doing like a Steven Spielberg jumbo one. Which,
Oh yeah. Well, some directors you'd have to like separate it.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't
Several
do
episodes.
all of Scorsese, but you could do like, let's rank the De Niro Scorsese movies, and that would still be like 15.
that, or you'd have to go by decade or something.
Decade, yeah.
you know.
And then what do you do at the end? Do you do like a bracket? Do you do like an NBA playoff?
Oh, wow. Sure,
Actually, March
wow.
Madness?
Actually, that could kind of work.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Interesting.
Or that's
Well,
how
we'll see.
That's how we handle the big one. But you still have to watch 27
You still-
movies,
yeah.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
which is too much.
It's just
that's
not always
the
good.
problem. You know what I mean?
Not always good. Yeah, man.
Any last thoughts on Shyamalan? His hopefully not flailing career.
He's doing
fledgling?
better. I think he can come back with one more that's really good. I think he just needs to rely on himself only.
Yeah. Take out another mortgage on your house so
Yeah.
that you really have the sweat. You know,
Yeah.
so you're really sweating it. You have to succeed, and then you'll do great things.
You know, I think the movie did pretty well at box office. I mean, it dethroned Avatar.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, had been out for weeks. But, you know, I
It
hope.
doubled.
Far less blue in this movie. So
True.
Yeah.
A good palette. Like I said, beautiful looking movie, man.
Yeah, I think very visually interesting. I mean,
Except for the end.
I could see you getting upset paying $20 to stream it at home and not liking the movie. I think that, I don't know, maybe invite some friends over and you could at least talk about it, you know? Then it'll be worth it, I
Yeah,
think.
it's a movie worth talking about.
And I honestly think as
hopefully,
I mean, that's what we just did, I guess.
if you're a fan of like movies and you don't want to have to worry, like you're like, oh man, all that's playing right now is Phase 9 of Marvel and like the new DC universe or whatever. Like we should support these. You know what I mean?
At least there's that.
So
You know,
Yeah.
and I think you said this when we left the theater, but at the very least, like there will be casual watchers and like our parents and boomers that go see this movie and are just like, that was a great movie.
Yeah, I think your parents will really like this movie, especially if they're religious. They'll be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you gotta go
100%.
see this new
There's
movie."
so much God in it.
A brown fellow does it, but it's still pretty good.
yeah,
Look at those brown chaps.
I'm not sure about these gays, but
yeah.
it's like, all right, Dad, calm down.
You're like, Dad, they were gay. No, they never explicitly
No,
say
they
that.
never said. I think they were just two friends who adopted a little girl.
Roommates. Yeah.
Wow. R/Sappho and her friend.
Is there an R/Sappho?
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's just great post,
I
man.
want it.
That's my recommendation. What are we even doing? I was just gonna say. I was gonna say one more thing. I don't remember what it was.
Well, I'll give you something to talk about it. We usually do like a catch up at the beginning, but I
Oh,
forgot, so
yeah.
we'll do it at the end. Danny, what are you watching? Any recs?
So I've been doing Deadwood, and I'm actually getting back into some animes I've been putting off. Attack on Titan, the final season, which is now getting split again
Yeah.
into 2 parts.
And I heard the animation really suffered too. Like they're like,
What on last one?
well, that the newest episode's coming out, that
Oh.
they're like running low on money or something, and they're trying to stretch
Oh.
out the production budget.
They work those poor people
boy.
to the bone,
Yeah.
man. I mean, those.
That's what you do to a production house. You grind them into the ground.
God, those poor. I'm so sorry for those. I don't know, mangakas or like anime
Hoopleheads.
The hoopleheads.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I feel bad for them because they do have to work their butts off. But I mean, the animation looks great. I also love One Punch Man season 3 is coming out soon. So I'm just gonna go through my anime category really quick. I'm doing Chainsaw Man, which is also pretty sweet. Catching up again on. There's a new version of Trigun out
Oh, okay.
where they kind of did like the Berserk CGI treatment to it. Still looks really good. And then I need to finish Jujutsu Kaisen, and I need to finish Demon Slayer, which I don't know if I'm really picking off on it, to be honest. But I am going to rewatch all of Evangelion, the movies.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah, man.
With Sam for the
Wait,
first
wait,
time.
the movies?
Sam, this is Sam's first watch?
Yeah, but I'm going to put her in on the movies. I really think that
What? No, you can't do that. You have to start with the series.
she's not very well versed in anime.
Honestly, I think that
Well, neither am I. That's how David got me.
the thing where it's like the movies are more anime in the sense that wow, are there a lot of underskirt shots, whereas the show is like a little more experimental. I mean, you guys remember reviewing what is it? 3.0 plus 1.0 thrice upon a time?
Look,
Yes.
I think my argument is that like the show takes time, yes, but there is still a lot of anime filler in the shows.
I mean, it's only 26 episodes.
Yeah, and even when I told her that, she was like, "What?" And I was like, "That's like typical anime season."
Oh my god. I mean, this is a podcast on its own.
Yes, we.
I think that there won't be a emotional payoff at the end of these movies because 3.0 plus 1.0, the conclusion, has so much to do with this being like a reset of the universe of Evangelion, which contextually will be kind of weird. And it's also like, do you want Asuka Shikinami to be the first version or Langley Soryu? Which is like, man, this is the most virgin podcast we've ever had.
No, believe it or not, Evangelion's still huge with the kiddos.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I know. I'm a teacher.
So what I'm going to say is I'm going to try one.
Okay.
And then if she has interest in it, I'll be like, let's watch some of the original before we go on to 222.
No, I mean, sorry. I have to convince you, Danny. This is like a crime. This is like you saying, oh, I have 2 kids and we're going to watch Star Wars for the first time. We're going to start on
she hasn't seen Star Wars either.
Phantom Menace. You know what I mean? It's
No,
like,
I'm not gonna do
what?
that.
You can't do that?
No, I wouldn't.
Because you're going to miss End of Evangelion, man. That's the prime example of Evangelion is End of Evangelion.
We'll tell you what.
It's incredible.
Well, I'm going to tell you how both go because we are going to watch Star Wars together. She's never seen Star Wars.
Oh, God.
And the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to do New Hope, Emperor Strikes Back, and then we're going to go to the prequels, and then we're going to come and do Return of the Jedi, and then we'll watch the new ones.
I'm so sad right now.
You would say watch the original old trilogy first?
I would say watch 4, 5, 6 and then just stop.
Yeah, you know what? That's not a bad idea.
You know what I mean? Like, it's at the point where it's like, watch 4, 5, 6.
And then 3?
If you have to. I mean, I don't like 3, but I'm a weirdo.
I like 3.
Clone Wars is so long. Just watch Clone Wars. No, but even then, you can't recommend
sounds awful.
to someone who's under. No. Watch 4, 5, 6, and then watch The Mandalorian.
Yeah, there you go.
And then even then, I'm kind of pissed because they're doing like a 90s Marvel Comics thing where it's like, oh, you need to watch Book of Boba Fett episode 5 and 6 to know what's going to happen in Mandalorian season 3. And it's like, I don't want to do this,
They're
man.
milking it now. I also heard that Andor is pretty cool. I haven't seen it though.
I implore everybody, watch Evangelion in release order. And most importantly, if you can get your hands on the original dub, do not watch the Netflix dub.
It's pretty bad.
Just hit the sub if you have to. Don't even do it because it's going to soil the experience. The characters are not right.
I'm going to do it how I'm going to do it.
Danny, I'm so disappointed in you as the other resident weeb of the channel. You can't do it, Danny. Don't do it.
You know, two sides of the same coin.
No, that's not what this is. No, I mean, hopefully she just enjoys it. That's all that matters.
I think she will.
You gotta love Evangelion. Yeah, you're right though. That's a big one. What about you, Frank? I'm stealing your job. You watch anything?
That was a lot of rats.
Well, thanks for hosting me, David.
Sorry, it's because I derailed it, so I felt like I should put it back on the tracks.
It's good. It's fine. We're nothing but a collection of tangents, anyways.
Yeah.
We just watched
That's deep,
what was it on Hulu? This movie called Intruders, which is a pretty basic, like the hunted becoming the hunter kind of thing. Very like don't breathe kind of twist. One of us thought it was really good. One of us thought it was pretty mid. But Rory Culkin's in it, and that was kind of fun because we just saw Signs.
I wonder which one.
I know who's who because off camera, Grace was just going like,
was she giving you like the thumbs up?
Yeah, man. Yeah, and then Frank's like, yeah, and it was pretty good.
There's some really good performances in it, and then there's some performances that you're like, really, you couldn't find anybody better than this guy. But it is what it is.
It's a Shyamalan movie,
but it's worth a watch. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's weird that we ended up watching it, getting ready for the Shyamalan thing.
How did we not talk about how bad Rupert Rupert Grint is in
He's terrible.
Knock at
Yeah,
the
he's
Cabin.
not good.
It made me sad. I was like,
He's
why?
probably the weaker of the main three in the Harry Potter.
And he's like
as
the
they
most.
grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Emma Watson is really good. She's like way better than Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she is.
So Emma,
Yeah,
Daniel, Rupert.
Rupert.
Yeah.
You're
I
right,
love
man.
Daniel Radcliffe, man. Dang.
Guns akimbo. You know,
Swiss Army Man.
I've been watching a little bit of What We Do in the Shadows,
Nice.
which the show is really funny. Although I'll be honest, I find myself like The Office was so groundbreaking, and all these like mockumentary style comedies and sitcoms came out, and I just find myself every time I'm watching one thinking like, well, this isn't as good as The Office, and I need to get past that, but I just can't handle it. But I'll try to do this quickly. I've been watching an obscene amount of westerns, so I'm gonna give you the
Just
title.
go out, get yourself some boots and a hat. Just go full in, man.
Can
I'm
you
gonna get you a review.
You're a dad now.
Yeah.
You can do it.
in post? Can you give me some like western underscore?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Something you ride your horse to?
Yeah, you got it, dude.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you the title of the western, and I'm gonna give you my score out of 5 sheriff's badges.
Okay.
Okay, Deadwood, 5 sheriff badges.
Okay.
quick-
A 5-pointed sheriff's badge?
Yes.
Okay.
Quick and the Dead, Sam Raimi western movie, just as campy as you'd think. It's actually like an anime because it's a tournament fighter. 3.5 sheriff stars.
It's pretty high.
Pale Rider, Clint Eastwood, 1985. 2 sheriff stars is a big disappointment.
Good to know.
Man, it's got.
Clint Eastwood will give you those disappointments.
I usually like the Clint Eastwood one, but this one felt off, and it feels like an 80s action movie. The guy who plays Jaws from James Bond's in it. He's a bad guy.
I feel like he's just
Can
making...
I interject just super
Yeah.
quick? I'll kill the Western music here. I almost forgot to share some news. Speaking of,
Of course, man.
what were we talking about? Guns Akimbo, action movie?
Yeah.
Today I picked up a new used gun,
Ooh.
and it's the gun that Arnold Schwarzenegger carries in The Last Action Hero. And I'm
Whoa.
pretty excited about that.
That's dope,
the
man.
actual gun he carried?
Not the actual one.
Oh, okay.
That'd be pretty crazy. I would have paid way more for it had it been like the actual gun.
Get a
and it wouldn't
quote.
fire because it'd be like a prop gun. That'd be
right.
kind of lame.
Yeah.
Well,
true.
that's what
That's
Alec
cool.
Baldwin said.
It shouldn't fire.
You should write you should engrave a Schwarzenegger quote on the gun.
Arr!
The Ice Age! Ice Age!
Love it. Put the cookie down. Continue. Western music. Hit it.
The assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert
Yes.
Ford. I'm going to give 4 sheriff stars, although it's not really a Western, okay? But
Like a drama.
it's a drama, and it's really well done. Man, you know what? I feel like my brain is so exhausted I can't even think of another Western I watched. But I know.
When you got all that donkey in your brain, it's just...
Rewatch Tombstone. Five sheriff stars. Five sheriff stars. It's just amazing.
15.
It's so incredible, man. It's just a beautiful movie. Val Kilmer. Oh my god.
Dear rude.
But I'll update you guys. I'm still going hard.
What about the Butch Cassidy?
Oh, thank you. That was the other one. Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid. I'd never seen
5, right?
what's supposed to be an essential Hollywood. I would go 4. I'd go 4. I have some problems with the movie. There is this amazing scene where for like 30 minutes of the movie, not even joking, they're being chased by the Pinkertons. And goddamn
Love it.
Pinkertons. Pinkertons are in everything.
Is
Yeah.
it the Ennio Morricone? Is in Butch?
No, it's not Ennio Morricone.
Okay, I'm trying to think which one.
They got this scene where they're getting chased by Pinkertons, and it's just the 2 of them on one horse, and they're just fleeing, and they think they've succeeded, and then out in the distance on the horizon, you see the Pinkertons,
That's sick.
and it's like 30 minutes of just, it feels claustrophobic. It is
That's
such a good scene.
So it's like a little chunk of Mad Max Fury Road.
Yes, well, I guess the other way around. You know what I mean? But
Oh, yeah.
But then the weird thing is that there's another scene where he's riding on a bicycle and they start playing "Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head."
Is it like one of those bicentennial?
Yes,
bikes?
it is like the weirdest, most out of place scene in a movie because it's really gritty. They flee to South America like they do in Red Dead Redemption.
Nice.
That's the biggest thing is rewatching all these movies and playing Red Dead Redemption 2 at the same time. It's like,
You know
oh, trope. It's like Red Dead Redemption 2 is just perfect
May
amalgamation.
I interject and jump in on this Western moment?
Yes, man. Yeehaw, brother.
So,
Wow.
have you ever, I think I recommended this a couple years ago on my channel, but have you ever seen Bone Tomahawk?
No, I haven't.
You should watch
Okay,
Bone Tomahawk.
I'll add it to my list because I'm hitting it, man. 310 to Yuma, the remake.
Yes!
Honestly, 3 sheriff stars. It was not as good as I remember as a kid. Okay, I'm done. I can't cowboy anymore.
Come back with Bone Tomahawk.
Yeehaw! And probably some John Wayne. I'm gonna go old school.
Oh, gross.
Nice.
What? There's great John Wayne.
Dude, there's some
movies,
good John
man.
Wayne stuff.
No, I know. I just hate him as a person.
Ah, fair enough.
That's fine. Yeah.
That's me playing Hogwarts Legacy. Honestly, well,
Steer clear of that.
it's such an interesting argument, the art versus artist thing, but it is a really good game. It's just crazy, and it's
I
also
do want to
like
play it. I mean,
there's like trans people on the development team. There's trans characters in the game.
really?
Yeah, and like J.K. Rowling didn't do anything for the game.
Right.
So I feel kind of bad in that sense, but also it is strengthening her IP and she sucks.
She does. Suck.
So
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Just so many people suck.
Well, that's another point too, man. It's like it all sucks.
Man, a lot of people are bad people.
Yep.
Well, and on that delightful note,
Wingardium, get the f- out.